Howdy folks, I'm Calm Chupacabra, cautiously curing carefully cut chuck.
I'm Amber.
And here's more cut chuck for us to cure. But
Is-
like the meat curing, not the like raising it from the dead. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for not wanting to share my food even though my boyfriend quote unquote paid for it? So, my boyfriend and I ordered takeout. He says that he would cover it this time, which was sweet. I got my usual pasta and he got a burger. Well, when it arrives, he immediately starts eating my pasta, like full on bites, not just, can I try a little bit type of stuff. I told him to stop and he goes, relax, I paid for it. I said that doesn't mean it's automatically his. It's still my meal. He said that I was being ungrateful because he spent his money and now it's ours. Well, we ended up eating in silence, and now he's acting like I made a big deal over food. But like, I don't care who paid. It was my dinner. Am I the jerk for snapping at him? All right, folks, what do you think?
no, not the jerk. If he wants to claim he's buying it for you, then it's your food and you need to be able to eat it.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
it should have been a gift, right?
right, exactly. And it's not a gift if he is chowing down.
Yeah, that would be a strings attached type of situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I had been OP, I would have just said, no, I'm not taking your food at this point in time. This is your food. I'm going to go make myself a sandwich or I'm going to go and order my own pasta, right? Like, I just wouldn't let him get away with it like that. I'd just be like, nope, I'm not eating your leftovers here or something like that, right? While, yeah, it's nice to buy someone food, he didn't really buy her food. He bought himself food and then gave her what he didn't want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, the thing is that he needs to understand that this was a really rude thing to do. If he had asked for a bite, then that would have been one thing, but he didn't even ask. He just dove straight into it.
Right. It was like, it sounds like eating the whole thing and not just, asking for a little sample. And
Mm-hmm.
again, how would he feel if OP started munching on his food, like bought him food supposedly, and then started munching on it?
Yeah, well, maybe the appropriate reaction from OP would have been to take a giant bite out of his burger and being like, it's ours now. Yeah, just eat half of his burger while for every bite of his pasta he takes, she takes a giant bite out of his burger. That's my advice. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Spectre7778 says, yeah, that's when I leave my food there and I walk away. And Ringwraith6 says, yep, most definitely. I would just abandon the food and walk away. Maybe fix myself a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, unless he paid for that too. And Minth241 says, yeah, it's the I paid for it, and not that he was greedy and selfish as taking gobs of her food. And Carmen DJ says, my husband used to think that it was funny to take huge bites out of my food before I got it. He got the hint when I was not pleasant. I would pat his large belly and say, yeah, you definitely look like you're not eating your share. He stopped for a while when I said that, but then the next time he took a bite out of my dinner, I threw my whole meal away. I said, I guess that's your way of telling me that I'm too fat to eat. He tried coaxing me to eat that night, and I flat out refused. He hasn't done it since then. However, 6 months ago, when we both started working from home, I would grab a salad for lunch. I would fill up my salad bowl with all the yummies, cucumbers, romaine, lettuce, carrots, tomatoes, and then lemon juice and pepper. The thing probably had 100 calories at best. He would say, are you seriously going to eat all that? So I threw it in the garbage again, and he hasn't said anything since then. I don't know, maybe this OP would be better off with a different partner, right? Or
Yeah.
commenter.
Yeah, I definitely do not. He does not sound like a supportive partner at all.
All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Will I be a jerk if I don't explicitly label my chili as vegetarian chili? My work is having a chili cook-off. A few years ago, I made a vegetarian chili since we had several vegetarians in the office, and I thought that it would be a nice thing for everyone to be able to participate in the chili eating. I made a vegetarian chili before since I don't eat a lot of meat. I'm not actually a vegetarian, but it's well known in my small office that I don't eat much meat. The chili turned out very tasty. Instead of ground beef, I used crumbled tofu, which gave it a similar texture. Most of the people in my office wouldn't try the vegetarian chili on principle. We're in Texas, and the office is very masculine coded. This year, I was going to make the vegetarian chili again because it's my chili recipe. I don't care about winning the cook-off, but I think that people should at least try it like they would other chilies. We submit a name and can add a short description. I named mine the Underdog, and the description just says contains soy. Most of my coworkers don't bother providing a name or description. Will I be the jerk for not labeling the vegetarian chili as vegetarian chili or tofu chili, as long as I indicate that it contains soy and allergen? If anyone asks if it's vegetarian, I won't hide it at all. I don't want to mess with people's food, but the judging is supposed to be blind and anonymous. Edit, some people noted that I should label it as vegetarian so vegetarians know it's safe to eat. We don't have any vegetarians in the office currently. I'm just making it vegetarian because I like it that way. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I think the important things here are, one, you're labeling the allergen, and two, there aren't any vegetarians who are going to not be able to eat it because they don't know.
Yeah. So, I do have a little bit of complicated feelings about this because it's clear that there are people who don't want to eat, vegetarian for the sake of it. But I don't think that OP is doing anything necessarily wrong. Some people might classify this as a lie by omission, but I don't know.
Do you have to label an apple as vegetarian though, or vegan or something like that?
Yes.
No, I don't think so.
You do.
And that's the thing is, like, as a vegetarian, I always have to check what ingredients are in something before I eat it. If someone does not want to eat soy or whatever, it is their responsibility, or they only will eat foods that have meat in them. It is their responsibility to make sure that it has meat in it before they eat it.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't really feel that OP is in the wrong per se, but I do feel that maybe some people would view this as a little deceptive. But I don't know. Maybe we'll ask the wheel what it has to say. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. No chill, only drama.
More like the coworkers.
No chili, only drama. Maybe that's what it's supposed to be. That would fit better, I think.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Today I Messed Up by Creating Tear Gas in My Oven. So some background to set the whole scene. I lived here in my home going on 20 years. Shortly after we moved in, my next door neighbor moved in as well. We had a cordial relationship, but she mostly kept to herself. Last month, she told me that she was moving away, and I offered to help her pack. I have moved upwards of 20 times in my life, and I know how terrible it is packing the whole house up, especially by oneself. Surprisingly, she accepted my offer of help, and I've spent many days this month helping her pack up her boxes. We've gotten semi-close over a short time. A few days ago, I invited her to dinner, and she said that she would love to come. The next day, we're driving all over the city for looking for closet doors for her. I have a big van. She shares that she used to be a chef. Well, now the pressure is on. I've invited her for dinner. Her family is from France, cuisine snobs of the world, and she used to be a chef. I'm planning to make lasagna from scratch. I've never done this before. I start cooking in the morning. I have a brand new oven after my fateful stove of 16 years passed on to appliance heaven. But I put the lasagna in at 5:30, and at 6, my parents showed up at my door. They were in town. No problem, I have plenty of food. Well, dinner is scheduled for 6:30. At 6:15, I open the oven to check on things, and a huge cloud of smoke billows out of the oven. Dough. My old oven had a liner for spills, and the new one does not, and I stupidly did not put a pan under my lasagna dish. Sauce is dripping all over and burning. Me, oh my goodness, what do I do? Mom, put cinnamon on the spills. Me, won't that just burn too? Mom, yes, but it will smell nice. So I take a big spoonful of cinnamon and I dump it on the now charcoal spots in the bottom of the oven, and I shut the door. Then I went to the garage to get the garlic bread out of the freezer. On my way back in, I bump into my son, who has ran into the garage. He's freaking out, coughing and crying. What in the world? Son, Mom, the stuff that you put in the oven made it way worse. I can't see. Well, I walk back into a war zone. The cinnamon has turned into a glowing puck in the oven floor. I grab a metal spatula and I open up the oven door, and a wall of orange smoke punches me. It's spicy, Spicy smoke is choking me. My eyes tear up immediately. I'm running around yelling, what do I do? The whole house is hazy. My mom is sitting on the couch scrolling on her phone. My father is trying to help me scrape napalm out of the oven. My kids are crying, and my husband is hiding in his office. Well, we scrape it up as best as we can, remove the stupid lasagna from the oven, and I went and opened all of the windows, and I turned on the air purifier to 11. My neighbor knocks on the door. My youngest lets her in, while I hastily wipe orange tears from my face. Smells good in here, she angelically says. Food was delicious, and my mom is banned from the kitchen advice. All right, folks, what do you think?
I mean, at least everything worked out for the best. You know, it will hopefully be one of those things that while distressing in the moment, OP can look back upon and laugh at.
Yeah. Well, I think the important thing here is that the fire at least was out. And
Yeah.
it wasn't like burning stuff. One of the better approaches is to use like baking soda because that can actually smother fires. But it also sounds like this was a small kitchen fire and not more or less that it was just like filling up with smoke. Like if you have a grease fire in the kitchen, one of the best things that you can do is of course use a fire extinguisher if it's out of hand, but you can also use baking soda, remove it from heat and cover it, right? Preferably removing it from heat and covering it as your first resort, baking soda as a second resort, and then of course like, a fire extinguisher if you have to. I know some people also use like wet blankets and stuff like that. I've never done that, so I have no idea if that's effective. So yeah, here's your fire safety message for the day. Bet you didn't expect that. Also, I guess another thing is don't burn cinnamon. I've never tried that before, but now I'm curious.
Well, I mean, think about the cinnamon challenge. You know, it kind of makes sense that burning cinnamon would not be very good for you.
Yeah. Amber, we have an experiment to run.
No, we do not.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Accidental Genius says, you could have been my brother-in-law and leave the styrofoam on the racks and start an actual fire running in your brand new oven. So it could have been worse. And Penguin Penguins says, isn't that how you're supposed to burn it in? And Remarkable Bird 445 says, haha, trust me, spicy cinnamon smoke is a family memory that you won't forget anytime soon. And Benny Torrey says, I don't think that's a mess up. That's my mom messed up. You followed her advice accordingly and taught your kids about chemical warfare. But it was her advice that caused the whole mess. And Suicidal Bot says, yeah, spicy chemical weapon story made the lasagna taste even better. And Fancy Berry 5922 says, cinnamon challenge taken to an extreme level. And Alt AF 770 says, this is such a perfect mix of chaos and heartwarming total disaster. But everyone lived, dinner got served, and the neighbors still thought that it smelled good. Peak family memory unlocked. And Bran Saradonan says, my ex and I boiled an entire pot of dried chilies and forced us out of her apartment. We were coughing and crying uncontrollably, eyes burning. Lesson learned. And Strider A says, but why? Were you trying to rehydrate them? I've never thought about that before, but yeah, probably not a good idea to boil chilies like that. So I do actually want to, a side tangent, right? Oh, maybe this isn't the time or place for that.
What is it?
Oh, has to deal with boiling teeth.
Boiling human teeth?
Yeah.
You boiled people's teeth?
No.
Oh, okay.
I didn't. So, okay, I guess I have to say it now. So basically, what it boils down to is this guy was trying to harvest silver out of teeth. And the way he was doing it is he was boiling them or cooking them on the stove. I don't remember. But the trouble is that the mercury amalgams break down and it released mercury gas into the air. And so, not a good time. So don't boil or cook teeth with mercury silver amalgamate fillings in it because it will not go well for you. Maybe another random tip. I don't know how he acquired all these teeth. I don't want to know why he acquired all these teeth, but I do know that I read a story about this at one point in time. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What do ghosts eat for dinner? Or not,
Spooky.
yeah, not dinner. What'd you go see for dessert?
Spooky.
Creme brulee.
Okay, yeah, I mean that was pretty good.
And on a completely unrelated note, it is World Toy Camera Day.
No, so go find yourself a toy camera and take a picture with it, or take a picture of it. And I have licorice spice. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Special Sunday, folks. And you know what makes it special? You do, and Amber does too, and the special stories do as well.
And Brian does too.
Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on not cooking cinnamon.
If you're not sure if something is good for putting out a fire, then it's probably best if you have the ability to look it up beforehand.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.